Welcome, everybody. Welcome to The Walking Dead, Episode 2.
The work you've done here. Someday you'll cross this bridge with your grandchildren and tell them the story of how it was built.
I'm not gonna bore my grandkids telling them a story about a bridge.
It's not just a bridge. Roads are the lifeblood of civilization. Rome rose and fell with its roads. Without this bridge, there'd be no trade. Bullets from Alexandria, grain from Hilltop, fish from Oceanside. This boring structure connects us all.
So this is Episode 2, people. The review, it's called The Bridge. And I gotta say, this episode is one of the best episodes apart from part 2. They're starting off great. Man, and we do another jump. This time it's 35 days. And I would like to say Episode 2 is brought to you by Mother Goose. Now, if you haven't read Mother Goose, you shouldn't even be listening to this podcast because this is brought to you by Mother Goose. So, basically this is what the story is about. And trust me, Mother Goose is essential to the story. And she has I'll say he has a hell of a shot. It's Mother Goose, but it's a he. And he has a hell of a shot, people. Anyway, back to the story. The bridge is kind of like a metaphor. I think it was brought to us by the last episode when they were talking about building the bridge. And it's kind of talking about building the bridge between the different factions, the different groups. And every group, since Negan's been taken out and put into confinery and just kind of put in a jail cell somewhere. No one knows where he is. I think he's in Alexander or somewhere. It's just to show that they need a bridge between everyone so that that group could function, right? So that world could function, not that group. So the world can function, that world that Rick has envisioned. And it's kind of a good metaphor to have, right? Because they need the bridge to kind of do trades. Sorry, I feel like I got something stuck in my throat. But anyway, they need the bridge to kind of do trades. You hear what he said. It's basically how all civilizations work with a road, with a bridge, right? And this is what we're talking about right here. But it continues from last episode where they're almost done with the bridge. It's like a couple of nails or some shit to go into the bridge. And everything is kind of like ramping up because you could feel the tension between the groups on what is expected, right? You could feel the tension. There's also like tension between the lieutenants and what should be done, how it should be handled, because they've never been in a situation where they've had big groups. And I'm talking about Rick's Corps has never been in big groups. And even Daryl said this before where he felt when there was a small little posse, like that was the group. Now that they have all these responsibility and people to kind of maneuver and take care of, they kind of feel like out of sorts, right? Kind of like frenemies, right? So there's all these frenemies going around and they need to kind of keep them in line, show them the path of the core group so that everyone can succeed. Will that happen? We don't know. But there's high stakes and you could feel that in the show. Right, especially for the saviors, which is their sanctuary. They call them saviors, but they're the ones who need saving right now, right? So it kind of works still. And their sanctuary is not really a sanctuary anymore. It's kind of like a wasteland. Nothing's working for them, and they need all the help, especially in the short term. So they're supposed to be providing all the effort as far as the doing the labor, getting the bridge to work. And then they'll get fed, right? So my pause is because it's my freaking throat, man. It's killing me. I don't know why. I need to probably take some Halls or some shit. But anyway, Rick, he has his plans, and it's to help the saviors and pretty much show them the vision and help everyone to get to that vision, right? And everything, when you have a plan in life, it doesn't work out. So there's always a plan A, plan B. Plan B is kind of just to, have Michonne create this contract, as you will, or kind of a constitution for all the groups to kind of work together, have laws together. And before I even go any further, if you don't like spoilers, I try my best not to put spoilers in this review or in any review that I do, but I need substance, people. I need that crack in my episodes so everyone could pay attention to and listen to. So here we go. Spoilers is about to happen. Anyway, so we know from the last episode, Rick had his plan to construct everything. The bridges were going well. Create this Avenger task force, like I said, with the Saviors and the other group. Basically, Negan's former community, right? Workforce making more than half to just kind of make this bridge work because the Hilltops didn't want to do it, right? Boom. We said this already. On the flip side, we got Michonne, right? Acting like the ambassador, creating this agreement like corporations do to get everyone to work together. You know, Maggie said she was going to help out. She had an agreement with Rick to provide, you know, food and stuff. But basically in this episode, Maggie's like, yo, I didn't get what I was promised, so I'm not giving nothing. Right? She's the new leader. She's trying to, you know, do the right thing, be there for her people. And she was supposed to get some ethanol to help her with her, you know, equipment and so she could do her gardening, you know, basically, you know, gas so she could do what she needs to do, right? She didn't get no gas, so she was like, oh, y'all trying to gas me up, so I ain't gonna do nothing. But she finally listens to, you know, her peoples and, you know, takes some incentive into, like, this is probably going to work out for me if I do the right thing. And she eventually does the right thing. To us, anyway, it seems like it's the right thing. But, I mean, needless to say, she basically says, okay, I know y'all need the food. I'm going to give y'all food, but y'all still owe me. She should have said, I'm going to add 10%. You know, she should have said, I'm going to add 15%. But she didn't say nothing like that. She was just like, you know, I'm going to give you the food. Make sure you pay up. Right? She gave him some credit. So this is probably the first line of credit in the zombie apocalypse. We're doing credit right now. We had a solar system last episode. Now we're doing credit. All it needs is a credit card. And, you know, we're about to be like the whole new world again. Anyway, there was some special moments in this episode. I would just say, I'm going to try to be spoiled, you know, not give too many spoilers. But, you know, there's some love going on. A lot of love talking and maybe some love making going on in the zombies. And it ain't the zombies making love. Thank you. I don't know what it would be like if zombies made love. That would just be crazy. Blood everywhere. Ugh, disgusting. Anyway, another little spoiler. Someone gets amputated. Watch a show. You'll figure that out. It's kind of gruesome, but it brings some tension to the episode. It's one of the main characters. Right, so definitely want to check that out. And the last thing I would say that was a special moment for me, well, maybe not the last. There's a new threat that's probably being revealed. Not sure if it's a threat to everyone, but it's definitely a threat to the Saviors. And that's how it seems to me, because the reason why the Maggie didn't get her gas is because the Saviors supposedly sensed a delivery and it never got there. No one knows where everyone is. No one knows the people who are delivering what happened. But there's a situation that happens in this episode where this person gets kicked out of the group, right? Where they're building the bridge. And basically, they show it like to insinuate that person gets killed, but we don't know, right? And the whole Mother Goose thing is Rick throughout this episode is talking to Negan in his jail cell, kind of like not really bragging or trying to rehabilitate. I don't know. He's talking to Negan, basically telling him how things kind of seemed like it was going bad, but ended up good because that's the nature of humans. That's the nature of man. Kind of seemed that's a little naive by Rick. And Negan kind of tells him that, like, yeah, come holla at me when everything starts fucking up. All right? Come holla at me when things are not going good because basically, you just making it sweet for when I come out. And, you know, Rick's like, we ain't never getting out. But he's like, all right, we'll see. Anyway, so these guys are, you know, having their little Mother Goose moment, their little story moment, right? And it brings up my last spoiler, right? So if Negan feels like he's getting out, like somehow when he gets out, things will be a lot easier for him to control. Because he's always tried to get all these fractions to just follow him, right? And if Rick, we know Rick is going to be gone this episode. This season. We don't know if he's going to die, if he's going to leave, whatever. But we know he's going to be gone. And if he's getting everyone in line and he gets them in line, does that make it easier for Negan if he gets out? I mean, and we get to hear certain things like the Jesus character. Yes, people, there is a Jesus character, and he's not playing Jesus, from the Bible or anything. His name is just Jesus. They kind of make him look like the picture from the white man Jesus. That's what I call him. All right. Well, so he's talking to Maggie, and he basically talks to Maggie about Georgie, which is a woman we met in last season that gives out books, gives out knowledge, and I guess she's been writing Maggie since we've seen the last season, and basically just says, hey, I want you to come here. I think you could do good things and help me out because her peoples or twins are not really being good help for her. And, they're trying to talk about it and see if Maggie wants to do it. So my whole thing is if Negan comes back, what happens to Maggie? Does she be like, all right, that's it, I'm done, I'm out? Does she try to fight? And if there's like a congregation of people that becomes a new, government, how will they handle if they say Negan, you let Negan be free, let him be rehabilitated? What does that happen? Like, does Maggie pull out and the Hilltop pull out, or does she go? I mean, these are things that I think about. Like, I like Maggie, but as a leader, I just don't see her holding the storyline or the weight. And it just makes me think that the show writers knew that Rick was, the character Rick was going to have to go. This is why they chose not to kill Negan, and this is why they're writing the story behind that tide, right? So we have a big enough character, a big enough presence, a big enough showstopper, as you will, to have as a head honcho of all these groups or whatever main group. And it seems like it'll be pretty good. But this episode was definitely a great episode. I give this episode, I would say I give this episode a 4.8. It had a great ending, a teaser ending. It was better than the first one. Great teaser ending. When you look at the ending, it was a great teaser ending. Great beginning because they kind of do a good recap and tell you a little story. And then even with all the dialogue, there was some payoff for the dialogue. There was tension, there was anxiety, there was all of that good stuff. Someone got hurt. There's always got to be a threat, right? Someone always got to get hurt. You can't be living in a zombie apocalypse and every day everything is good. People need to constantly get hurt. They need to be constantly have situations where someone's either fighting a zombie and it's like a real threat, not just like here's a stab, here's a little stuff to the chin, something that really scares the group. And I think that was really, impactful in this episode to have that high stake situation to happen. I'm not going to describe it because it's going to mess up the episode. But if you watch the episode and you don't think that the 4.8 is deserved, it's 4.8 out of 5. Let me know. Hit me up on hoodnewsmedia@gmail.com. I'm always on Twitter. You can hit me up in there. I'm squashing all the freaking bugs, all the trolls on Twitter. 98% of the time. Some people might get me, but 90% of the time I'm squashing bugs out there. So hit me up. Definitely listen to the podcast. We have all other podcasts coming out. So we have Hood Stories. We have, Bodega Sports. We have Marriage Boot Camp. We have a lot of the shows that people like and talk about. Hit us up. Listen to Ice Baby and BX Lou. My co-hosts, they do a great job. Make sure you holler at them on IG and all the social media sites. And just remember, we are Hood News. We out.